partnership with Climate Kick, together with the Irish Aid. And jinsi gani inavyoingia ni ya kwamba we are all about excelling all of those startups or entrepreneurs or adaptive businesses that have solutions that truly help those in the rural areas to adapt and cope with the aspects of climate change. You know, through all of these solutions, they're really playing a good impact whether it comes to various value chains, such as farmers, such as various agriculturalists, and even those people who really need the aid, right? Mi mwenyewe, I need the help. Whatever I do in my operations every day, nimekutana na very interesting solutions that are helping me personally. So this program has been a gift, not just for the ecosystem, but myself personally. But yeah, so kwenye hii specific program sasa, or this specific founders event, it is indeed looking at going beyond investment, right? Really looking into touching on the areas that investors look for that are just beyond a relationship between a startup or an adaptive business and the investors. So really trying to capture the idea of what investors look for in these adaptive businesses. That ukienda pale, it's not just that you have a great pitch deck and you have some traction. What are you really looking to build with them? Looking at investor relations, looking at the type of investments that they usually do. And it's about an exchange of value. And value comes in various forms. So we're going to explore all of those things today here. And we have some people watching online, so that's always good. Please, this is going to be an open discussion. We love the interactivity to be in the room. Kwa hiyo kama mna maswali yoyote, feel free kuuliza. Kama kuna any point that you'd like to add, please just raise your hand. We will be here to be able to communicate. Right? And we have today wonderful panelists who are experienced in the field, who have vast experience when it comes to engaging with startups, engaging with investors, and of course running similar programs that really add value. Kwa hiyo wataingia na different perspectives, and I'm sure every one of us here today is going to leave with something. If you don't leave with something, come and find me personally. I will be sure to help you out. But otherwise, thank you for your patience again, and I'm going to now bring in the panelists so that we can begin our wonderful event. Thank you. Here. You can tell us it's an open environment. Yes. You may take your seats. It is all good. Once again, my name is Lorian Mafuru, and I am here at Smart Lab as a program associate. And for this specific program, I am the program coordinator, responsible for bringing everybody who is in this room here. So thank you for being here once again. And we have our lovely panelists over here together with the moderators. I will spare the introductions, but for such events, I like them to introduce themselves and have the freedom to say what they do. Kwa hiyo, I will leave you to the room to that, and then Faraji, you can kick off the conversation afterwards. Thank you. I will be somewhere around here. Okay.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Au nyote mnasoma. Sababu of Quaresma and you have Ramadan going on. So I have Swam and all that. So my good name is Faraji Hassan Emi. That's my good names, Faraji Hassan Emi. Napenda kujiita mzururaji. Like, the reason why I call myself mzururaji because okay. Kazi nayo. Okay, so the reason napenda kujiita mzururaji is because I've been almost everywhere, and I think it's time to settle in one place and try to focus there. I've been trying to be in a lot of opportunities and trying to find out about things that I really am interested in, and I found myself going almost in everything. But for a while, I've been working to support startups, specifically in scaling up, and my main interest in those in ideation processes, because I feel like these are the ones that mostly die on the process. For those who have been mature at kila kimbilia, so for me, always be like, let me deal with those who are just starting so that I can see how I can help them. Some of my colleagues have been with them here last, I think 2 weeks past, and so we'll have more conversation. So I have our panelists here. As you can see, I'll be the moderator. I'll have more for conversation, but these guys are the ones who are gonna give you madini more, right? So to start with, my brother from Mazao, please can you introduce yourself?
Hi, how are you? Swahili or English? Tunaongea Swahili. Yeah, my name is Geoffrey. I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Mazao Hub. What we are doing in Mazao Hub, what I can say about Mazao Hub, we are a data-driven agronomy service provider. So we provide agronomy services by with our own model we call take and touch model, whereby we do in the following ways, 3 ways. First, we manufacture soil kits to collect soil data, and then we offer, the second part, we offer an offline and online farm management software to provide data-driven agronomy services to farmers, farm analytics, farm insights, and streamline the supply chain in the agriculture supply chain. So that's the tech part, the toolkit, which is soil kit and the software. But the problem is we don't believe in the software. We don't believe in the tech that can transform anything. We know that having the tech alone, it is impossible when it comes to agriculture. So that's why we establish agricultural clinics. We treat agriculture like health sector, physical centers where farmers can come for soil testing, farmer can come for agronomy services, but powered by the technology. Farmers can come and book appointment for agronomy services. They can be visited, etc. So by doing that, we have been able to scale very fast, and we have a lot of farmers who have adopted our technology because of our touchy component. And so far, we are working in 15 regions in Tanzania, and we have full, when I say like serious farmers who are using our technology, we are talking about 5,000 farmers. And there is no like, NGO, I mean, actually we are going beyond what many of NGO have done in the sector, because we believe that agriculture is a business, and it has to be treated as a business, and the farmers have, so that's how we do as a Mazao Hub. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, great. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Mercy Thomas Ndunguru, and today I'm here to learn from all of you, okay? So I'm currently working with MTI Investment here in the DA office. So MTI Investment is an investment firm. We are impact and commercial investors, and we have been existing over have at least 9 portfolio companies, East Africa. I would say specifically Kenya and Tanzania, and then we're also exploring to try other regions as well. So my biggest role at MTA is actually the program lead. So MTA itself has 3 different departments. So we have the business support department, and then we have the investment department and the finance department. Why do we have that, or why do we do programs? Because over the years, we have been engaging with companies that are creating more profit rather than revenue-driven companies. And we have set up very high standards for most of the companies. So it did not give us a lot of chance to interact with most of the companies. To mention a few of the portfolio companies, so at least you might have an understanding of what I'm talking about. So we have Mtaji, which is an invoice financing company, and it currently works with SMEs to provide them alternative financing, that is invoice financing. And it was just a few months ago, we actually provided them a convertible debt note of 200,000 USD. And then we have Zandrek, which does plastic recycling in Zanzibar. And then we have Shambani Milk, which does, it's a dairy milk company in Morogoro. And then, but the most importantly, we have currently merged with TechBridge Invest in Kenya. So now we call ourselves TechBridge MTI. So MTI remains to be an investor, and TechBridge remains on the. You might have seen us in the ecosystem interacting, talking about the Elevate Blue, championing that. But also, I usually feel there's a very thin line between green, when we talk about green financing, there's a very thin line between the climate and the blue economy sector. There's like a very thin line. I've observed that through the companies that I've seen through this program, but also through the companies that I'm currently working with in the Elevate Blue program. So without taking a lot of your time, I have been existing in the ecosystem for the past 7 years. I spent 1 year in Kenya and 7 years in Tanzania. I've done a lot of work with Sahara Ventures, and then now I moved to MTI. So why did I move here? I was so curious. I was working with so many startups, and then, we all have that part of the program where we have to connect startups to the investors. And then I was like being ghosted by so many of them. They were not actually responding. And then I was very curious, what is it that they're looking for? Because they're coming, they're saying we're interested, and then there's nothing that they can provide at the end of the day. So I was like, let me jump there and see what is really happening. I figured there's a lot happening, and I'm really open to share them today with you here, guys. So I'm looking forward for this wonderful session. Thank you so much.
So actually I thought it would be earlier, because I really wanted to make this more like a conversation rather than a presentation. Sadly, I don't know how much time we have, because and we're supposed to finish around 7. So let's see how beneficial this can get. How many of us do climate? We're focused on climate, our businesses, in the raise of hand. So all of us, right? That's pretty cool. That means our conversation was working, right? So we're going on the right direction. So there's something that we're really curious about. I think we all know today's presentation what it's all about, right? We want to look beyond just investment, and we want to see something beyond financial returns. How can investors really dive in and be able to support you and give you the funds without not looking only on how much they're investing plus how much financial returns they're going to get? But we want to go beyond that. We want to see how impactful are you guys on your businesses and what investors are really interested in. So without wasting time, I want to give her time to Kuji Mwaya, who is coming to meet a climate-related business. What are they really looking at? Because we have seen that most of them are focusing on the solutions that you guys are providing rather than the financial returns. So she has been working on the area. I would like her to share with you what they are really looking at. And for you, Father will have questions and see how you can learn more from her. Karibu.
Thank you so much. So I'll try to share a few things. I'll mention a few things that I've observed from our investment. We have a history of working with one company. That was a solar company in Kenya. It was called Tsunami. We exited this year. So they were doing a lot of revolutionary things in the climate tech sector. But I think what was really interesting before we invested into that company, it promised us kwamba it can at least return the amount of money that we have invested. So mostly we're going to tumia debt financing to invest in these companies because we believe it's a big business. But what really happened over the years, so this investment took some, I would say more than 5 years. More than 15 years with related companies, kama Zandrek, sawa. So it's been a while since we have been working with them, but also what we have recently observed, kuna swala lile la governance within. It was like another thing. Ambayo it was like, I would say it was like the biggest issue. And then another issue ilikuwa ni compliance, regulatory compliance. And then another issue pia ilikuwa ni impact sasa on the environment, ESG, ambayo ni environmental sustainability governance. That was also another thing. We figured also the business did not generate so many ways of like creating more revenue. Ilikuwa ni the same way of generating revenue. So I know I shared it in the vice versa way. I was supposed to say like, what are we really looking into? Yeah. So we are looking at your team, and that is like a very common thing, but to us it's very important. MTI is trustworthy. I think sasa hivi tunaandago kidogo mabadiliko na new CEO na nini, but bado tunabaki na moto ile kwamba if we cannot trust you as an individual, we can't put our money in there. We have seen how bad it has messed up things. And then pia tumesumbuka sana na swala la regulations, ambapo kuna maswala ya TRA ama KRA in Kenya. And then kuna maswala au mawili ambayo nimetaja. The government has been a little bit, sisemi kwamba inatuone but niseme tu ni kwamba it did not see, inaona businesses ni kwamba they make money every day. Do we all make money every day here sometimes in the business? Let's go to that type of reality, sindio? So that situation, it still keeps us from the fundraising level. Mpaka MTA akaona kwamba in Tanzania I can only intervene with it kwa kutumia commercial financing ambayo ni kutoa mikopo instead of equity financing. So kwa watu ambao tumeinvest equity, manake we trusted those people and walikuwa kwenye situation mbaya kiasi kwamba we had to talk about that company because we have a relationship with them. So I think hizo ni vitu ambazo nimesema also learn from you guys. Kama you see any other I don't know how this should come out about, but those are like the biggest main challenges ambazo nimeona. Unaweza kuwa na pesa, you don't have a good team, haujui ku execute, you're asking for too much money, you're not generating a lot of revenue. That is like the biggest issue.
The things that she mentioned, I've noted two of them. First of all, they have to trust you as an individual to put some money, right? So I think we have had these conversations before with some of the startups. How can you be trusted as an individual to make sure that the investor is interested to put money on you? How come I need to get it from your side as well? And then we can be able to learn from them. But all facing is that most of people do not really understand what commercial investment is all about, you see? Because we might have a lot of investors coming in, and for us, we're always about impact. This is how many people that we're reaching out to and all that, but they don't really understand how it works when it comes to commercial. So I'll come back to you on that, but let them reflect on this while I go to my brother here. So you have been on operations for a while now, right? And you have been meeting a lot of investors in terms of your operations. When you refer to most of the startups that are doing climate-related businesses, among the challenges that they face when investors are doing due diligence, they always end up being like, you have to improve and then come next. So I really want to get from your experience, what has really been an impact when an investor is doing due diligence and they visit you? Like, what do they really want to see when they come to your business? And what have you learned that you think others can be able to learn from you as well?
First, investor, what they want to see what you have said that you have. And hata ukidanganya kidogo, alafu akaja akakuta kile ambacho ulikisema hakipo, you lose trust. But one thing ambacho which I came to I learned from my experience. I was telling Mr. Fry today my story that I know many people wanaweza kwa sana nifahamu vizuri sana, but I have been into startup life before. wakati COSTECH inaanza, startup wale wa mwanzo. I remember the time when nilikuwa nasimamia mfumo wa central admission system. If you remember, in Tanzania there was one of the system which was developed, central admission system, ambayo ni wanafunzi wana apply vyuo vikuu na nilikuwa ni mhasibu. So sikuwa na tech background, but I was still an accountant TCU, and I saw young people building with talent and all that. And vijana wale wengine walishapotea, tujue wako wapi. Lakini at that time kulikuwa na a lot of pressure, like unaona like people walikuwa na passion. So niliona namna the technology inaweza ikafanya jambo na ikaweza kufanya transformation. I saw it with the system. I saw wanafunzi na apply chuo, and then system ina select chuo chake, inampa location na kadhalika. I saw it. You know, baada ya kuona hicho kitu, that was when I quit kazi. Nikasema, you know what, I'm going to build this system, but for agriculture. Niliacha, nilidhani ningekijenga kile kipindi, lakini ndo nimekuja kukijenga now. So nimeacha kazi 2014 kujenga huo mfumo. Along the way nikajenga e-commerce for farmers, which whenever I see at a startup I say e-commerce connecting farmers to the market by passing middlemen, na check and I say it's not a big problem. I know that jane. So naja kutoka ninayo alipokuwa naendesha ninayo.com, mnaenda mna pitch, mnafanya nini, looking for grant, you see. And then while pitching as a startup kama kile kipindi, I used to exaggerate. I remember kuna kipindi fulani Edwin Bruno alikuwaga kama judge at that time. Kipindi cha nyuma ilikuwa CD Star, nyuma sana, na nilikuwa na pitch muda huo, na pitch e-commerce yangu ambayo ndo nimeitengeneza soko world, haianza kutoka. Hata hosting nilikuwa na mwambia jamaa iweke vizuri ionekane ili ninavyo pitch ionekane. Do you understand? They are pitching, and then watu wakaanzisha e-commerce. Hata ninayo, ask them, they will tell you which we first. And then we pitch to other people to go to enjoy whatever sijina nini, like you have that, you know, I have the users. So the lesson I learned from the failed startup, tell yourself the truth before you go to investor. Don't lie to yourself, because you lose and you are wasting your time, because they will know. So whatever that you are building, tell yourself the truth. Is it a business? Am I making money? Am I paying salaries? Am I paying myself? There are people who are learning a startup while he is employed somewhere. Hii anaitumia tutafutie hela ya grants. Stop lying to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Is this the really thing? No. So this is what I learned. When you have something which is really, something which you know inakupa hela, sindio? Na hata mtu mwingine akija kuwekeza, sindio, unaweza kumuonyesha this is it. Hata investors, they will give you money. And this is what I learned from the failed startup, which was also called Fulsa 101. And then that's when I learned and applied into the Mazao Hub. And with the Mazao Hub, even in the team, I tell the team, we are building this, tell me, can I use it? Can someone pay for this one? Tell yourself the truth. You see? But then, while telling yourself the truth, the investor also, they want money. These are investors. I will tell you the truth, ni kwamba their impact Impact in no sense. Most of the startup kwa hapa Africa is impact, by the way. Anything you start here in Africa ni impact. Labda unauza bia ya bia. Sindio? But the most startup ambao ukianzisha mna mtu ambaye ni impact. Well, we don't need to talk about the impact. Let us talk about money. How do you generate revenue from that? And when you generate money from the small thing you do, and then hicho kidogo unachokipata, how do you find the other ways, collaboration na nini? Lakini another thing, find the right network of potential people who will give you money. You know, I have some of NGOs. I was sharing the experience with my friend here. When we started Mazao Hub, one of the very biggest NGOs in Tanzania, and then they engaged us, and then we had this partnership too, and you know, and then because of habit of telling myself the truth, whenever people come like, congratulations, you have made it in life, you have made it. This organization, you are partner with it. But then deep down you tell yourself, this is a joke. There is no money here. So I told him, like, you know what? We're going for this one. Let us, ni bora tukufe sasa hivi kabla hata investor tufe tujue yani, lakini hatuendi kuuza sura. Sindio? It's all about you. Tell yourself the truth. Are you really in business? Are you really making money? Are you really building something? Or are you just having a passion, unapiga kelele? So it's all about you. Tell yourself the truth. Am I doing it? You see? Na kwa kumalizia tu nikisema kwamba wengine wanasema kwenye Bible wanasema kuna kujenga nyumba kwenye mchanga, alafu unajua kabisa huu ni mchanga. Kwa hiyo unaweza ukawa umejenga nyumba kwenye mchanga, alafu ukaweka branding vizuri na nini, lakini you know deep down kwamba una njaa. Kuna mtu ameshajenga nyumba kwenye mchanga na anahangaika, hana hata nauli, na anaenda na proud kwamba we have made these billions, you have made this one. Unaangalia kwamba serious, are you making this level? Yes. Na unaona kasa so it's all about the truth. It's all about you. Tell yourself the truth. Are you really building the business? If you are not, go deep. Uweze kuelewa hicho unachokifanya upya. But one thing I know and what I've learned, investors wako naona, and then I came to realize even investors, they are struggling to find the right startup. Sindio? Yani ukija ukifuatilia investor, they are struggling. Na wao hata mfano kama ukimwona hapa da Messi, unaweza kukuta na amepewa target. She need to reach a target to get at least 2 startup. Anahangaika kila kiangalia startup as it makes sense.
We call it reality check, right? Naomba tumpe round of applause, please. I mean, among the things that we need to really consider and look into ourselves, brother amezungumzia vitu kama vinne, niko na vinote hapa nikasema nitavirudia. Kuna promise versus reality. We promise a lot when we're doing pitching. We know ourselves. Truth, how many times we always pitch, right? Una pitch a lot of informations ambazo unajua kabisa investor akifika utoboi. I like one thing that amesema, jiangalie wewe mwenyewe afu jiulize, if I was an investor sindio? Lakini okay, seems like I have to leave my phone aside. So there's an issue of exaggerating, right? So komba mtu I was trying to, I have this idea I'm working on right now. It's a business startup. And before I started, I have been thinking of it for almost 2 years now. And then I asked myself, why shouldn't I go for it right now, right? Because I've seen the problem is becoming bigger. I can share with you, I believe no one can steal my idea, because I'm the one who knows it better. So a lot of young people are going to school, right? Wanafunzi, sindio? One of the biggest challenge wanafunzi wana face ni transportation. Like they have to struggle hard to get the transport going to school. So I was asking myself, what can I bring on the table to help these kids going to school? The issue of mobility, right? So I told myself, let me introduce 2 things. I'm introducing a system that either it's going to be a wristband or a card whereby a parent will be paying from those wristband, ina maana nauli yake itakuwa kwenye wristband, right? Alafu tutakuwa tuna ambayo itakuwa kwenye mabasi, yatakuwa specific dedicated for students. So what a kid does, akiondoka nyumbani, mzazi anajua mtoto ametoka. Unapoingia kwenye basi, unaweka ile wristband. Kwa hiyo inasoma amelipa, mtoto anaingia kwenye basi. Mzazi anapokea message kwamba mtoto kaingia kwenye basi. Anaposhuka kwenye basi anagusisha tena mtoto kashuka kwenye basi. Sasa kwenye collaboration tuna collaborate na school, inakuwa ina system pia. Mtoto kafanyeje? Kaingia shuleni. In 3 aspects I'm winning. Aspect 1, safety of the kid. Mtoto atakuwa anajulikana alipo muda wote, si ndio? Aspect 2, tutakuwa tuna ensure transportation for the kids, si ndio? Aspect number 3, tutakuwa tunahakikisha kwamba tunachukua nini inaitwa kwa shule itakuwa inajua wanafunzi gani wako absent na wapi ambao wako absent, lakini at the same time ukija kwenye masuala ya security ya mtoto, all the time mzazi anaweza katrack mtoto wake alipo. So I was like, this is an amazing idea. Let me go for it. But before I implement it, let me meet some parents and see what I'm going to do. So I met one of the parents. I was like, look, I have one, just the same I've explained to you. And the parent was like, I'm not going for it. Because one, my kid ni mtundu, they're going to lose it even before I pay for it. Why should I go for it? You get it, huh? Pili, watoto wenyewe wako against it kwa sababu kuna watoro wa shule. So they're going to affect it. So I started asking myself, the moment I meet an investor, this is the reality check ambayo my brother alikuwa anazungumzia, si ndio? The idea sounded cool. Ndio hiyo kwamba I'm having an application that does 1 2 3 siri na nini, mtoto atakuwa na security, lakini kuna mbongo mtoto wake anasoma shule gani, yeye anaishi Tandale. Unamwambia issue ya kumwekea hela kwenye wristband. Kwanza mzazi mwenyewe hajawahi kutumia wristband maisha yake yote. Afauje kumwambia. So, I've tried to put this into a reality check kwa sababu anachokisema my bro kwamba sometimes we see ideas on our heads but we don't give them to the investors. Yani, we're not putting ourselves on the shoes of investors. The idea might be really good, lakini the exaggeration ambayo tuko nayo kwa sababu kuna swali mtu aliniuliza. Mnazijua hesabu za mezani? Hesabu za mezani ndo zile watoto wako 100,000. Kwenye 100,000 napiga 500 itakuwa ni milioni fulani. Milioni unga mzuri huu. Mtu mmoja akanichaka nje akaniambia, calculate, nadhani nilipata kama bilioni 1.6. Akasema calculate tunahitaji magari mangapi? Magari 600. Nikasema natoa wapi costa 600? Investor gani yuko tayari kuja anaweka costa 600 from nowhere? Iza hapo. Sisi tunaelewana eh? Sasa ndio hiyo tunayosema reality check. So I want to bring back to you guys. Tumesema tunataka iwe conversations, ndio? There are some things we're reflecting earlier. Tukasema kwamba you have a lot of challenges that you're facing. We might have an experience a little compared to you guys because you know the reality. My brother has been in the journey. My sister has been on investors part. I've worked with different hubs, so we know the challenges. One of the challenges I shared with one of my brothers here before was that how many of us know the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs? How many of us have set our businesses based on the SDGs? Reality. So I expected this. I like him. Actually, I like the idea of maybe. There's one of my brothers I'm raised. Akisema mimi I'm doing it. Sadly, I've met some of the startups here. We did a training together, but until today, they are not aligned with SDGs. Now I'm bringing you closer, right? How many of you know something called NDC? Wewe najua kwa sababu ulishiriki. I love that. Ngoja tuambie ni nini, karibu.
It is a national determined contribution.
This guy knows kwa sababu alikuwa part of the people who are reviewing it. So obviously he knows the NDCs. The reason why I said this is that most of the businesses that are doing climate, right? My brother has mentioned here, yes, most of African companies is all about impact, but we want revenue as well, sindio? But one of the strategies that we can use, if you have the real impact, if the impact is seen, the revenue is easy to track, sindio? Do we believe in that? Investor anasemaje? If we have the impact, the solution is seen, the revenue is in, sindio? Kirahisi namna hiyo. Extra, sindio? revenue na profit juu yake. Okay, we'll see that. So the question is, are our startups impact driven that end up in bringing us revenue? Which is what my brother said. An investor anakuja kufanya due diligence, ushamwambia una clients 1000, si ndio? Alafu anafika pale anakutana na clients 10. How do you solidify that? How do you prove that? Si ndio? And this is what we're talking about beyond investors. Yaani usiwaangalie tu kwa jicho la juu. What else do you do that will improve to them that I need to put my money here? Kuna mfano nitamuomba my sister akiwa na muda aweze kuelezea, na my brother tulikuwa tunazungumza earlier. My brother had an investor ambaye aliinvest within 1 month. I hope it's okay to share it here. Sio lazima umtaje, but you can share the experience. Lakini my sister akawa shocked, like it usually takes 3 to 6 months for an investor to put money. Even 24 months, which you're talking about 2 years. Sindio? Sasa my brother he closed within a month. Nilipenda the story, ndio maana nikasema natamani isikike hapa kwa sababu it was all about due diligence. Na investor aliona nikichelewa hapa siingizi hela. I love also the story ya Fernandez kwa sababu Fernandez Tanzania silishindikana, akaenda kutobolea Kenya. But if you look at it, we're almost talking about the same issue, sindio? So before we go there, do we have any questions or concerns? Najaribu kukimbizana na muda kutokana na how we are. Karibu.
Madam Marcia. Okay. Fine. Nilikuwa naangalia issue ya ESG, Environmental Sustainable Governance. Ina apply kwa startup wote? Does it apply? Nimeona na nyie investor na changamoto, yani nilikuwa experience nilionayo, it is a current experience, our CRDB nafikiri na Smart Lab na wenyewe wali apply. There is a component of ESG, but the way the questions are designed na kilichokuwa kinatangazwa unaona irrelevant. So at the start you see even the investor is irrelevant, lakini kwa sababu ndo wameshika lungu wameshika lungu, tunapata changamoto. That is number one. Kwa hiyo nasema now it is true, nimeona hiyo issue ya ESG ni kama inakuja sana kwa startup, lakini hawabagui sasa hivi. So in the checklist, labda kwa information na startup wengine, in the checklist, in the due diligence, I think that is one of the issues they want. Lazima ucomply navyo. Na una comply, unaona kabisa havi apply kwako. So that is the issue. So we are trying to comply, but we know kwamba hata hii yani ukisoma, ukiulizwa hii alikuwa anasema, unaona kabisa hata mwenyewe kuielezea some of the ESG information. Kwa hiyo nataka nilizungumze unaofanya hivyo, ifuatilieni hicho kitu, na kuna kitu nafikiri wameandika kinaitwa BC, kiko related na climate. Lakini number 2, Faraji amezungumza vizuri sana. Nataka kusema what does the investors look in our business. Sasa last session nafikiri tulikuwa na issue za type of investors. Kuna wale impact investors, nyie ni impact yao popote. Okay, it's fine. Wale okay. Sasa walivyotufundisha kwamba wale impact investors sana sana wanaangalia hayo yani yale yanayopendwa kusemwa. Hata tutakapoanza kupitch, mimi nilipata shida hapa kwenye session nikisema mimi wateja wangu ni kampuni 2. Alikuwa ananiambia Palobi, hautatoboa. Zungumza wakulima 1,000,000, fishes 1,000, the impact. Even yesterday during the coaching session, wakati nazungumza kwamba mimi bwana nataka kufuta kundi 10, wakaja we want to see the economic impact, yani ile a global big picture of the 10 people. The 10 people investor muamini. Kwa hiyo so alichokuwa nakizungumza kwamba sisi tunaamini ndio reality, lakini investor hawataki hiyo. Kwa hiyo hapa ni message yangu ni kwamba jamani tuwe makini. When we pitch to the investor, wanachotaka ukisikia uzungumzie have a solution 500,000 farmers. This is the reality. Hakuna mtu hapa, mimi nilikuwa nazungumzia hapa watu wote kila siku nikizungumza fish farmers 10 wa pondi wale. Yaani unaona interest inashuka kabisa. Lakini nikiongeza 0.1 100. So the reality is Mr. Geoffrey. The reality is nachokiona sometimes when you go to the party unaangalia ule mchezo ambao ule muziki ambao utakopigwa sana hata kama hujui kucheza unacheza huo, so let us play that.
So a little bit of a guidance. So it looks like we have our fellow who have joined us virtually, and some of them speak English. So let's try to focus on the language as well.
Okay, so I just have a question. I don't know, maybe I should keep the mic to you. But first, for the people ambao lisema kwamba they were focusing on ESG and then they were really not, it was irrelevant. I wanted to know what type of funding were they providing to you? What type of support? Because that's also another understanding that you must have as a startup before you approach someone with their money. People can do, I also figured one thing, investors inawezekana ni a whole community of 50 people in Europe, ama Marekani, ama Africa. Wakaamua pull money together so they can invest it somewhere. So what happens is, whatever goes with them, whatever is a yes to them, that's what goes. So maybe I should understand, wakati uko CRDB, what was the type of funding that they were providing? Kama ni green bonds, if you're talking about green bonds, dona wako hawezi kukuelewa if you're not talking about ESG. You must calculate how much carbon dioxide emission are you trying to reduce and avoid to the atmosphere. You must talk about that. So I think we also need, there's also a very huge gap ya kuelewa even the types of investors that can fit in with our business. Lakini pia, one last thing ambayo naweza pia kusemea on the investment reality check kwamba we want to hear bigger numbers. I think since we have been very straightforward in the ecosystem, mpaka watu wakawa nasema MTI wamejitenga sana for like the past 10 years. Kwa sababu we were very straightforward kwamba you have to be profitable. And why did we call ourselves for impact? It's because kuna some of the companies who invested equity financing. Hakuna mtu anaweza kukupatia sasa hivi wewe kama hapo ulivyokaa ndugu yangu. Kuna mtu yote anaweza kukupatia akaomba kwamba nakupa $100, $100 hii hapa, alafu tuta exchange hizo shares. Tanzania tu. You get? An investor is someone that is trusting you apart from all those people that did not. Mtu anayefanya equity financing hajaangalia collateral. Kwa mfano najua MTI, yes, we can take a look at the collateral, but tunaangalia kama are you profitable? Tunaangalia intellectual property ambayo uko nayo. Those are the factors that help us to invest into your company. So there are so many things I wished we should both find a corner to sit and talk about ili tuelewane zaidi. There are probably 60,000 investors and maybe 5 are only yours. Not all of them. So I think that's also another observation we should make. Thank you.
There are two things that I really want Joe to talk a little bit about what he just mentioned. You know, like we don't, how can I put it properly and then you clarify? Yeah. We don't need to fit ourselves on the calls. We don't need to fit ourselves on the calls. We have to qualify for the calls. Does it make sense? Yeah. We don't need to fit ourselves. When you see a call that says, I want you to have 100 people, it's not for you if you have 10. It's completely not for you. Don't force yourself to put a 0 and be 100. That's the problem. That's number one I wanted to clarify. So find the calls that are relevant to you and then go for them. If you feel like you want to win that call, then do what is necessary to reach there. But don't force yourself by adding a number so that you can be able to reach. That's one. My brother, I'll reflect on the area that I want you to talk about. The second thing is, I think you were talking about, sometimes they ask, an investor might be interested in the impact that you're providing. There's a huge confusion that we usually have, and most of the startups are failing. We do not know how to translate the financials into the impact. Yes, you're making money out of 10 people, but those 10 businesses that you're making money out of, how many people are they reaching to? That's your number. What we are forgetting, I might tell an investor I'm working with only 10 clients, but the true fact, from those 10 clients, I'm reaching 1,000 people. You're supporting a lot. So I think what you need to do is to translate your business in a way that an investor will understand that you're reaching out to bigger number indirectly, but it's through your support. And this is where my brother comes. From the solutions that he's providing, he might be meeting less people, but he's impacting 1,000 of people. So I would like for you to share a little bit of how your business works for people to really understand how you're reaching out to people. I was telling him, when we come to the climate impact, he's doing a great job. On the businesses that, when he's doing soil testing, right, he's helping the client, which is a business, right? But through soil testing, the products that will be produced in that area is going to be used by thousands of people, apart from that specific client that has been investing in that business. So he can decide to translate that into his result as well. It just depends on how the investor is going to look onto the whole idea and how you want to invest as well. So maybe you can talk on that area, and then someone can learn out of it as well.
Yeah, actually, I will also answer the question which he asked. In terms of you have 10, you have to add a 0. I will give an example. Alexa can testify on that. There was a post which I posted on LinkedIn that I was in Mtwara, that we are opening a farmer. We have opened the Farmer Excellence Center where we serve farmers. And then imagine if it was a lie. Just imagine. I posted that we are in Mtwara and we're going to have we have a Farmer Excellence Center in Mtwara. Imagine if it was a lie. The next week, different investor was in Mtwara doing the DD for another startup. And then he called me that we want to visit your Mtwara branch. And you have lied by posting on the social media. How will you respond to that? And then there is another investor actually came recently. I was in Lukwa, and then I shared, it was WhatsApp. I just shared it to her that I'm in Lukwa region, where we have our Farmer Excellence Center. And then she asked me like, okay, Lukwa region, so Lukwa region. And then I thought, we also have another one in Katavi. There is a Katavi region. Yeah, we have a Farmer Excellence there. And then that investor came, and that's another investor. She came here for the due diligence for another company in Katavi. And then she just asked, I just want to go and visit your Farmer Excellence Center in Katavi. Do you imagine that? So she went there, and then I asked her, like, can I accompany you there? You don't need to come. Yeah, just relax. Just continue with your things. You see? You know what happened? They met my team there, and then they spoke, and then she commented, like, you have a team. Why? Imagine if I had lied. Do you understand? And that was actually, after that encounter, she made a decision to invest. And then when she was investing, and she was talking to another company, that I have no doubt with Geoffrey. You see, I have no doubt with Mazao Hub. You see, they do not lie. What they say is what they have. So even if I decided to lie with 1 million, 10 million farmers, you see? So if you lie in the beginning, my friend, you will be in trouble, especially when you are looking to court an investor. You have to be truthful. So that is one part. And then in terms of impact, the question that my brother asked, that in terms of impact in the number of farmers that we have reached. Of course, what we do, Mazawa, I know some of the startups in agri-tech who can come and say, like, we have reached 3 million farmers, 5 million farmers, you see. I know that they pitch and they, like, whenever you see like 3 million farmers, come on, like mpaka unashtuka unasema Mungu wangu anahudumiaje hao? Si ndio? Si ndio? Si sawa? So the thing is, even for the 45 farmers that we have, you see, it's not ourselves who save them. We have other partners whom we save. There's a partner farmer excellence centers. We have transformed them, we have trained them. So they bring more numbers into our impact. And then we pitch that number as ours, which of course, it's the number which that we have been able to reach indirectly through them. So it's not necessarily when you go to them and they say, you know, in our own Farmer Excellence Center, we have 3,000, but in partner, we have, so they are all your numbers because they are within your range. So that is how you pitch to the, if you want to show the impact, you see? And the one thing, as I've even said before, I'm going to repeat that. Here in Africa, startup are impact. Any startup is impact driven. Here in Africa, any startup is impact driven. But most of investors, and I am going to repeat this, and I'm telling you with the experience, most of investors, they will talk to you like impact when you pitch, impact and all kind of impact. Yes. But during the due diligence and during the whatever, you have to show the financial model, and they don't understand your financial model. You are talking about number, this is the impact. No one is going to give you money. It is all, it's impact and the money. Add to every conversation. It has to be impact and the money, it has to be there. I know investors which they are NGO. There is an investor who invests into your company, and there is an NGO, you can see it's www.org. It's impact investor. Go to the website. We want women, we want all this and that. But my friend, no money, no investor is going to put your money in your business. Because at some point, when you are talking about the investor, it's all about money. But if you want for grants, it's fine. If it's a grant, it's fine. You talk about grant, talk about number, impact and the light report for grant, that is fine. And when you are lighting for grant, you don't talk much about revenue. You speak more about the impact, how many women, children with kwashako and this and that, you see? And that's how you pitch to them. But for the investors, equity investors, without money, my friend, you are not going to get money. I don't know, but if she's here, she will talk about the impact and all kind of things, but all investors that I know, it's all about money. And most of the startups in Africa, the impact startups. Most of us, we are doing impact because we are saving. Most of our customers are these people like women. Most of our customers are these people who cannot afford, we are not, there's no, if they find a startup which is saving Vodacom, it's very few here in Tanzania, like a startup is saving CRDB Bank, very few. But other startups, most of them, we are saving these people of whom we are making impact.
Just said, and I'll send it to Mercy. Is there a difference between funders and investors?
So for me, I usually say they are all funders, but investor ni tofauti. A funder anaweza kuwa ni donor, lakini investor yuko na interest kwamba there's something that you must give me in return, and that has to be tangible. Donor anaweza samehe, anaweza ona kama there's no need for you to give it back because you have created more impact. But yeah, he also made me remember a very good case regarding people who lie about their data. I think I worked with one company ambayo ilikuwa na only 100,000 farmers in Tanzania. By that time, the government waliwafata kuwauliza, why are you guys working with so many farmers in Tanzania? 100,000. So for you who's saying 1 million, 2 million, there's a tension that you're going to create bila wewe kufahamu. You will get into politics, you get into all those things. So I think being genuine and just being honest should be a two-way traffic. Kwamba you are trustworthy na investor wako pia ni trustworthy. Yeah.
The reason why I asked about the difference between investors and funders, so like I don't know them, I just wanted to clarify something. These days, our government, I hope I'm not recorded. These days, our government is usually sneaking to places where there's opportunities. You go to the investors meeting, and you just think you're just yourself, while there's a afisa wa TRA amesetwa pembeni anakusikilizia, right? You know how it works, eh? So afisa wa TRA unasema kwamba I have 2,000 clients. Report yako kule inasema 200 clients, ndio? Anakufuata kwambia, can you justify this? Kuna hela unaficha, si ndio? And we know that our government usually hits where it hurts most, eh? Kwamba tunatafuta wale ambao ni example, so that we can show other people that you don't need to lie, si ndio? So I think we have to understand, mostly when it comes to impact. I think something has been introduced which is very important, the sustainable business development model. If you're working, forget about the previous one, the business model, just business model, the sustainable one. If you focus on the sustainable business model, you come to realize that when it comes to focusing on impact, it's way easier when you use the sustainable business model compared to the previous one, the normal business model. Because the normal business model, I think, works best when it comes to investors who are looking for financial benefit as well. Like they give you something, they want something back. But when you work with the sustainable business model, you come to realize there's a lot of impacts that you're showing them, that you're providing to them, which is, now you're gonna get at this guy, and I was telling him the same. For him, if I work with him on sustainable business model, we're gonna make a lot of money from impact-related funders. I think he has a lot of impact to showcase. But when it comes to investors who want to get money, now they're gonna have a conversation even more, right? Because of the operations and how the models are created, on how he's developing revenues and all that. So, I would like to hear more from you guys. I think we have explained ourselves a lot, and if there's any question, yes, karibu. We were supposed to finish at 7. Sadly, we started at 18. My brother there arrived around 4. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I want to do my best to finish around 7:30.
Mimi swali langu linaenda kwa Geoffrey. Kama tunavyojua sasa hivi sekta ya kilimo ni sekta ambayo nadhani kama sio ya kwanza, ya pili, inaongoza kwa uchafuzi wa mazingira na inapelekea mabadiliko ya tabia ya nchi. Mazao habu kama mazao habu, kwenye swala la kukabiliana na mabadiliko ya tabia ya nchi, nyie mnafanya kwenye upande tu wa soil testing. Vipi kuhusiana na utunzaji wa udongo na pamoja na utumiaji wa dawa za asili, tunaweza tukasema kilimo hai, nayo imekaje?
For the benefit of others, let's respond in English.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, many people, they normally, they know that Mazao is a soil testing company. Yeah, but then when we started Mazao, we started as an agronomy provider. When I say agronomy service provider, that means we also onboard the regenerative farming practices, climate-driven farming practices. You see, guiding farmers on the best farming practices. And if I tell you, agriculture is contributing, we are talking about 17% emission due to farming practices. And most of these practices is because of, we can say, poor farming practices. You know, most of farmers in Africa, not just Tanzania, they just buy fertilizer and they'll go and apply fertilizer in the farm without knowing the ratio, the right quantity to apply. Maybe a farmer just knows like 4 bags of NPK, let me go and apply in the farm. Understand? And then there is another farmer who go and apply herbicides in the farm without knowing the ratio, the right amount of application. So what we do to a farmer, which is why that is the impact part, we reduce the cost of production, unnecessary usage of chemical fertilizer. And that's what we have been able to achieve. We have been able to reduce more than 50% of most of farmers that we are working with based on our guidance. And the guidance is starting with the soil. So during the soil test, we tell you like, you know, you're not going to use 4 bags. You just need 1 bag, and please add the manure in your farm because your farm is affected on this part. And then just add the lime in your farm. And then after the soil, then we go through the crop management. There are some of the herbicides we tell farmer, no, this one is not recommended. Use this type of herbicide. This one is not healthy for your farm. This one, so we are training farmer, guiding farmer to farm based on data. And you know, anything with data, we know that we reduce some of unnecessary distraction. So we have farmers who are doing organic, which is why we are going to launch soon. We are going to launch our crop trading platform, whereby we have buyers who buy organic product. We have one of the customer in Itanga with more than 1,000 acres. He's a German growing spices, organic. And we have our agronomist managing, helping that person to follow organic farming practices. So what we are doing as a Mazawab, we are impact-driven company, guiding farmers with the best healthy, environmental friendly farming practices, from the soil with the fertilizer, herbicides, and all other inputs. Okay? So that's what we are doing as a Mazawab. Yes, you might find in our shop, in our agricultural clinic, we have fertilizer, we are distributing fertilizer, but we guide the farmer on the data to use the right amount of input to use. You have to use input when you need it. You don't just use it as a tradition.
Thank you to our sister's question. Actually, we have managed to hit the topic beyond adaptation on business, right? It's exactly what he was talking about. And when the investor is looking for that, yes, he's going to be looking for the revenue, but now we want to see something beyond revenue, the impact that you're bringing as well. And that's exactly what our brother has been speaking about here. Do we have any other questions? Do we have questions online? Any question here? Yes.
Yeah, it's actually a comment, thanks. Someone mentioned about KRA and TRA and the policy and environment in Africa. Let's not just point out Tanzania. For me, it's been a rude awakening. I don't know for other startups that if you are truthful about your numbers, you end up in the bad books of TRA, because they come and say you've made 4 billion shillings this year, and you know for sure you haven't made that much. So I don't know who can help us here with that in terms of the policy side and how startups in Tanzania specifically can be helped by the big guys who make the policies to actually have an enabling environment. And I think that's why we don't have many Nalas, many Ramanis, many Mazao hubs in Tanzania, because the minute you make money, which is what you're saying we should do, right? And when you start a business, you want to make money, and the investors want that. One of the key reasons why investors don't come to Tanzania is because they don't know how to take out their money, because most of it will go to capital gains at a very early age. Like DMA, we are 6 years old. We've gone through 3 rounds of funding. We've gone through 3 rounds of downsizing. Mostly because the first one was COVID, which affected everyone. The second one was basically us making some mistakes, which I think all startups do make mistakes. And then the third one was really not pushing what we believed in to our investors. Most of the investors want these kind of numbers, but we have mostly grant funding, which is NGO funding, and their impact side really pushes towards you making numbers of farmers instead of numbers of active customers, right? And I think it's a lesson learned, and I'm sharing this with everyone. But yeah, anyone to answer around the policy, I think said answer this.
Yeah, actually, before summarizing, I wanted to say, let's have 3 facts. The reality check, right? All of us are startups here, right? How many of us knows the policies that are guiding startups in Tanzania? Let's start with that. Okay, let's say everyone is saying Tanzania startup acts are not like they're not existing, or maybe they're not real, or maybe they're not good, right? Let's go to another check. How many of us knows the policies that are guiding businesses in Tanzania? Thank you. She knows them because she's an investor. Okay, let's go to the last one, right? You have talked about most of us are focused on grants, which are given for free, let's say. Do you know the reason why most of the startups are not going to commercial? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Or have you asked yourself, you're a startup, why you're not going for commercial? Because most of startups in Tanzania, they're looking for free things. That's a true fact. I know people pointing fingers on me, but that's the truth. So we don't read. We don't know exactly how businesses are run in the country, but we blame. And third, we do not want to go to the commercial, which he has been talking about, for example, MTI is doing, because we know we cannot reach the target that is needed, and we are not ready to give ourselves to reach the targets. That's why we run into grants that are easy to work on. If I make it, cool. If I don't make it, it's gone. So coming to my brother when he's going to share about that fact that you just talked about or shared about, we're talking about like the situations where, let's say you're pitching to the investors, and then let's say TRA sneaks in, and then you're saying maybe you have 1,000, let's say, clients that you're serving, but actually serving 100. And then it starts pulling up on you and you want to pay and all that. That's where the whole point came from. Am I right?
Yeah, but for us it's the opposite. We have many farmers.
Okay.
We have many people on the ground.
Okay.
And basically they came back and said, oh, you said you made this amount of money this year. Let's look at your books for the past.
Which was it real or not?
Years.
The one that they told you. It was real. Okay.
And then they went back to
Previous years.
like 3-4 years back.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that they came with an analysis that you guys earned billions of dollars.
But was it real?
No.
Then I think we need to have backups when it comes to reporting and all that. So where should I start?
Yeah, first of all, in Tanzania tuache kulia kilio cha startups. Tuache kutafuta huruma. Sawa? Why am I even saying that? When you are in the field kwa wakulima, nakutana na wakulima ambao nikichukua yule mkulima nikamleta awe startup. If I'm in the field, you have to take that farmer, the way that farmer have struggled, and they take that farmer and they bring him to the ground as a startup. Like, I don't see if there is any startup who can cope to that guy. He doesn't complain. He faces things as they are. You see? So, my point is, TRA, they are there. And I don't know, of course, I don't say like for us we don't have the challenges, but one thing I learned, you have to see yourself as a business person. Remove the word startup first, so that you don't have that mindset of, you know, TRA is going to kill me. There are people who are like, yeah, they are complaining, you know, the policy is not fair, the policy is this, and then when you go deep, you find like it's not even doing anything. Do you understand? And like even TRA, they don't even struggle to that person because he's trying to make too much noise. That's the one thing which you also Tanzania we need to stop this. You see? So when you go deep, we see people who are dealing with TRA. You will find them TRA. We know so many startups. Some of the companies that they are even fit to be called startup. You meet them to TRA. They sit with officers at TRA. You sit, you do the numbers. You show you are audited. This is audited, and this is the number. And then you see how it goes and all that. You follow the rules. Sindio? You follow the rules, and then you go with it. You'll even find some of the rules ambazo there are loopholes, and you find a way to go around it. That is life, my friend. Sindio, it's business. So it is sometimes we normally complain about TRA even before the real business. Like if I can tell you, I know some of the people like TRA, like, but if you go deep, like, how much are you making? You see, because if TRA does it struggle with someone who's making maybe $2,000 per year, why even TRA struggle with you? Si sawa sana mboga hapo mtaani pale anaingiza shilingi 2020. TRA anahangaika naye. No one is struggling with that. So it's better to get inside, get into the arena, you see, and build a relationship with the TRA. There are some of areas where you can find a way to resolve and clean up and life continue. If policies come, okay? If startup police come, okay? Isikute umekufa.
Yeah, so that was a very good point. Actually, maybe I'm starting to reflect on the nature of the activities that we have as well in our investment firm. So I want you to understand one thing. Wakati unaomba pesa za investors, understand kwamba huyu mtu anapokupatia hizo pesa. So let's say we provide, let's say 500K for, let's say 3 companies in one half of the year. Ukumbuke kwamba huyu mtu anatakiwa kuripotia hiyo pesa kwamba amechukua sehemu, si ndio? So mostly the nature of the activities of an investment firm ni kuja kuanza kufanya masuala ya due diligence, kutoa ile pesa na make sure ku-approve kwamba the money is approved, si ndio? Lakini pia there's a lot of work that we do during the due diligence and includes checking out the financial books. But in my observations, I think I've seen like a lot of beautiful challenges. For me, nazionaga kama hivyo. I don't see them as bad challenges because we have never invested in a perfect company because there's no such kind of thing. So the biggest challenge in Akuaga, the books are a little bit messed up. Messed up as in how? Kuna ile financial discipline ambayo sometimes inakuaga inavurugika. Kwa mfano, some of the companies unakuta they have 2 different entities ambazo wameziregister differently, And then what happens is pesa inaingiliana kwa hizo two companies. That is not allowed in TRA. Kwa sababu wakifika, they will judge you based on what this company is making and what numbers they see have been going out, in and out. And also another thing is TRA hawezi kuja, I don't know on the perspective ya kusema kwamba they can sit in the investment committee wasikize what you're doing, but mostly I think I've seen a case where a startup alipatiwa pesa, zile shares mpaka zikakuwa transformed, akapata pesa yote, asubuhi akaenda kwenye magazeti kusema kwamba he fundraised. I think that's where tena ni KRA ndo ilienda huko kuchukua pesa zao za nyuma nyingi sana. Lakini pia on the same note, MTI itself has invested in a company in Mwanza. I won't really mention. And what happened is the company closed for like 2 years. After the company closed for 2 years, TRA walikuja tu kuibuka wakasema, we owe this company 50 million TZS in 1 year. So ni total of 100 million TZS. So while we were fixing that, we also have other companies. I will tell you, I think we are sharing real experiences here. So I'm not also trying to hide kwamba these companies are also struggling. They are not perfect. We invest, and these companies are growing. Kama how you are running your business. We have seen a lot of challenges in our own companies, pale TRA. And that is why even our former CEO alikuwa anasemaga kwamba TRA has been a headache this whole time, myself being in Tanzania. Lakini let's move on the other side sasa, ya startup ecosystem. There's a lot of changes ambazo we have seen in Kenya, Nigeria, wenye zile big fours ambazo tunazifahamu, si ndio? Wenzetu wamepata tax relief, for example, of 1 to 5 years ya kuestablish their businesses. Mpaka zikifika 5 years hawajakufa, manake wataanza kuchajiwa taxes from there. Those are the different environments I want you to think of. Lakini pia what I would really emphasize on, kuna kitu tunaitaga governance. So tukisema governance, usiangalia tu timu yako kwanza. Take a look at you na the financial governance that you are doing. Because there's a very thin line between receiving investment money and using it for your own. I've seen so many companies that were messed up after most investors exited because of the founders misusing of money. Unaweza sema, I'm promising myself I'm not going to do this, but you'll just buy that range. You'll build that house. So I think in that perspective, Nikama, there's a way that you have to display yourself to TRA for them to see you. There's a way that you will display yourself. And another thing, Nikwamba pia, I suggest you guys don't really hide, because hiding won't help you. Utaenda utatokea TRA miaka 8 nyuma, they want the information. You see? So I think it's a very interesting area, but I think Tanzania also is still improving. And also hii ilikuwa ni changamoto fulani, while we were having this discussion, I think it was Nairobi. It was like a table of, let's say, 20 investors who are very serious to come to Tanzania. Kama mnamfahamu Goodwill Investment, Alphamundi, whatever, they came here with different investment instruments. Lakini issue ya TRA ama KRA in Kenya is easier to navigate, I think, at some point kuliko this side. Si kama nasema nchi yangu, I love it, I love the work that has been done, but it really sucks a little to see the struggle that these people are going through. Kwa sababu hawa report TRA peke yake, they have the funder who funded them. They have to report to that person. And then bado they have the people who are serving, and they have to make money for themselves, to pay themselves and the company, and to keep the business running. So I don't know how, that is like a very wide scope that I've seen so far. So I wanted to share that perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think one of the most important thing, I see most of people were looking into when TRA is in the room of investors. She just said it very well. They won't be there. There's just small mistake that you'll do, and they'll be on your neck. For example, you have managed to win $100,000, right? You have been announced. So we are happy to announce our new investee, this business that has been doing this number, and they've been doing You know, Tanzania, how good we are in PR, eh? The moment they finish announcing you, the next week TRA will be knocking, yo, you have been doing this number and you managed to sign this amount of money. Please share with us your reports. This is when they'll be showing up. So don't be scared of when the investors are there that maybe there's a TRA guy here just looking. No, they might not even be there at all. But the day you get announced, this is when they'll start looking onto your businesses and all that. Do you have something to add maybe?
Jamani za jioni. First and foremost, I would like to what Geoffrey amesema. One among major problems we are having in this country napokuja masuala ya startups ni kutaka ku-apply what is happening kwenye other countries kwenye our environment. Kitu kikubwa ambacho we need to understand kwamba the history of our country is totally different na Kenya. Kenya ilikuwa ni capitalist. Tanzania imekuwa ni socialist country. And until today, TRA, governmental institution yoyote ama regulatory yoyote, bado wana operate katika huo mfumo wa kwamba ni socialist. TRA bado wanaamini kwamba wafanyabiashara, they are making a lot of money and the only way ni kuwabana na kuhakikisha kwamba kodi inalipwa. Tukitaka kucompare na Kenya ambayo ni capitalist country ambayo they are ready to negotiate, especially when they see an opportunity kama ni ya business. That's why it's very easy to scale up ukiwa kwenye nchi kama Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa kwa sababu it's very easy to negotiate na wao ni capitalist countries. Sasa this is something ambayo we need to understand from the beginning. Na I guess this is one among vitu ambavyo tuna skip most of the time. Tunapotaka ku scale up kama startups ama tunapotrain startups kwamba we should learn to understand our history and how our country is operating. Otherwise, TRA wataendelea kuwepo pale pale. Watakuja, watakubana. Geoffrey amesema vizuri sana, ni muhimu kulearn how to maneuver. That is all. Lakini katika area ya utaalamu sasa, vitabu hizo unazoandika masuala ya ki-accounts, startups nyingi hazifanyi, hazina experts. There is a need either to outsource accountant au kupata expert anaweza kufanya hata kama utamkodisha for some time ili uweze kuweka hesabu zako vizuri, lakini pia awe ni accountant ambaye anaelewa how TRA ina operate. Hakuna njia nyingine. Ndio maana kila siku tutasema startups zetu nyingi either zikifanikiwa kidogo TRA wanazivaa kwa sababu wao wanaamini kuna hela. And let me tell you this is very straightforward kwamba wafanyakazi wa serikali sio kwa ubaya, japokuwa nasema ukisema sio kwa ubaya ndio kuna ubaya, ndio but so sio kwa ubaya. Jinsi ambavyo hizi authorities zina operate Tanzania ni kwamba wao wanataka kukudhibiti. Ndio maana hapa kwetu kila kitu kiko regulated. Kuna authority everywhere. Huwezi ukaweka price yako hata kama ni nauli ya daladala kwa sababu kuna LATRA. Ukiweka nauli ya juu na kudhibiti. So hiyo ndio environment ya Tanzania. Kwa hiyo lazima uelewe unafanya business ama ni startup in which sector. Na you should understand the regulatories ambazo unahusiana nazo zina operate vipi. Lakini pia you should learn to make them partners. Kwa sababu most of these people pia they are not exposed sana kuhusiana na issues za startups. So it's a new subject. So we have a role pia sisi wenyewe ya kuanza kuwafundisha na kuwaelekeza ili tuweze kumove forward. Lakini otherwise it's going to be complicated. Utahama, utasema uende somewhere else kwenye market ambayo kwenye ecosystem ambayo inafanya vizuri. But again, kunazo startups ambazo zinaweza kumaneuver, ndio maana unaona zina operate. Tumekuwa several times nimekuwa nikikuwa na conversation na watu kwamba kwa nini startups zetu huwa zina zina stuck. There is a reason behind. Investors wengi they see market ya Tanzania kwamba ni complicated, inapokuja masuala ya taxes, policies. Startup moja inaweza ikawa inakuwa inaendeshwa na policies zaidi ya 5, hawezi kumaster zote jinsi zinavyofanya kazi. Hiyo policy ya startup kama isipokuja right away, what is going to happen? Are you going to shut down the business? That is not true. Lakini it's important to learn the environment so that you can keep moving while you are also helping these people who are working kwa hizi regulatory authorities kuelewa what is happening kwenye hiyo ecosystem. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Nilisema nataka tumalize by 7:30. This topic is usually very interesting. For the first time, my last role was program associate in investment. It was one of the craziest positions that I've worked in. It was one of the toughest ever that I've worked in. Sababu, there's a lot of things that I came to learn that startups don't know. And if they don't know, they don't even have right people to really help them to know. You know, like one of the challenges that we're having, I'll be honest, I've been in hubs. We are focusing only on how to raise and get money for startups. But the navigation of the strategies on how to make sure that the startups are operating and they're performing, most of us fail. Like the first thing we'll do, come up with idea, do ideation. The second thing we'll do, business plan. The third thing we'll do, marketing. The fourth, we want to start now expanding to the market and all that. But if you come to the reality, regulations are not known, understanding on how you can navigate your business. I really like the idea when he said, stop thinking of your startup as a startup. Start thinking of your startup as a business. Even your mind, the way you'll be operating will quite be different, you know? Even the way you'll be approached will be different. Because at the end, you'll be tackling issues as a business, not as a startup, you see? So I usually like when we have conversations like this to come up with some kind of amendment on how we can move forward, right? How many of us participated on the meeting that was hosted by TSA on the issues of policy? We had two of them, right? One in Arusha, one in Dar es Salaam. How many of us participated? So it's very sad. I did not participate in either of them. It's very sad that the key players are not the one who are attending these meetings, you know? It's very sad. And I blame both sides because of one thing. One, when we are invited, we're not there. We are busy because we believe we are business people. I mean, you might have not received, but I believe, actually the announcements were also made. There you go, man. I'm having trouble now. Uh-huh. They didn't want everyone to attend. Sawa. So let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. We'll deliver feedback to TSA. For now, let's focus on our topic. Well, my main concern is that even when you look on the people who mostly participated are not the people who are really into the area or who would contribute to the area, you know? I was really curious that maybe we could have reports coming from specific hubs, for example, getting all the opinions from startups, and then taking them up until we get to the right place, you know? Like we could use one of those strategies. The reason why I'm saying this, I'm telling you that for sure, a startup is, a hub is going to deliver what the funder is telling them to do. Like this is real fact. I've been a hub manager. Like when I'm looking on my checklist, is someone has funded me, I have to make sure that everything is ticked. You guys are the ones who are facing these challenges. You do not come up with what you're interested in, you'll never have it. That's a true fact. So we as startups or as businesses, I think we should start raising on that area, because I was talking to her as well. She told me one thing which is very real. Investors might think they know what you guys need, but actually they don't. This is how we end up getting investors who are giving us certain kind of eligibility that are not relevant to our reality. You see? At the end, we're not getting what we're looking for. We end up lying. We end up creating things that are not even existing. So maybe it's time now for startups themselves now to start advocating for the things that matters to them according to the reality, rather than waiting for the hubs to announce what they want. I don't know if I'm understood. We should advocate for what we want rather than waiting for the hubs to tell us what we want. Because we know the reality. We know what is happening. This guy has been in the hub for a while, right? If you put him down here and tell him to tell the reality of the startups, he'll give you 10 or 20%. But the true fact, you have 80%. And he will never know it while he's preparing programs for you guys. Yeah, so that's some hints that I wanted to give, and I would like my brother to share as we're closing. On his close-up, he has something to share with you that will be relevant to whatever you're going to be meeting the investors as well. Karibu, bro.
Okay, thank you. My brother asked me to share why is storytelling when you are pitching to investors. And my story has been my grandmother. Any investor who meet me, it's all about the story of my grandmother. And I would like to pitch it so that you will know, like, it's a serious game. It's not about, like, it's all about story. I mean, like, when you are pitching to investor, they want to know whether you are connected to that solution, whether there is something, it has to show that you are connected. I will tell you, like, my name is Geoffrey Tenganamba. I'm the CEO and the founder of Mazao Hub. I grew up as a smallholder farmer in the Lulo community with my grandmother. I went through painful challenges which I cannot forget. One of the very critical challenges is lack of close agronomic support. I've already pitched the problem. It's all about the story. So most of the time, whenever I pitch to investors, it's all about my grandmother's story, and which is personal and which is true story about the company which I started. And why it is even important for storytelling, especially for this impact investor. They will not give you money if the story is not connected. Like, this guy is a thief. So, because when not you, I'm just so there's I like this guy. No, this guy is a thief. So they need to see, like, does it, because they ask you with they also come and ask you a co-founder when you talk. Okay, because some of the investors in the before during the IC, if they want to submit the memo to IC, you even need to speak to the founders. Okay, founders have to speak to the founders of that organization. So it's heart-to-heart communication, and those guys, you have done everything with the investment analyst, financials. You are done. There is this part of the story that you need to finalize with the founders and tell the story, how you met. All of those things are connected. So storytelling to investor, I think, like, is also the heart of your business when you want to get investment to the investors. So you must have a story. You must be a storyteller if you want investor to invest in your company. And another thing which I would like to remind you, I don't attend public like this. Maybe for last year and this year, even the previous year, this one is the first to even be here. So I will tell you this truth, and you have to take it with you. Let us live beyond Tanzania. Tusifungwe na mazingira ya nyumbani. Let us live beyond. Kuna network nyingine zaidi ya mazingira tulionayo. Sometimes we mistake by being like, for me, I'll give an example. I'm from a very poor family. I don't have backup with a family. And all people in my family ni walimu serikalini. They are forcing you have to get a job in the government. So being in the family, you might be leaving the family and loses a nyumbani. Go and find other rules out. Umenelewa? And they show it. Do you understand? Tulivyokuwa tuna open our branch Rwanda, tunafungua pilot Rwanda, Uganda na Kenya. I have learned so many things kwamba asilimia kubwa ya Tanzania tuko kwenye boxi fulani hivi tumefungwa hivi. Na hata ukifika pale tunalalamika ecosystem, my friend. you will keep blaming, but utakuja kufika sehemu fulani utaishia kwa unalalamika. So let us live beyond. Usijifunge ndani, usijifunge tu mazingira ya hapa peke yake, go beyond. Kuna investors wengine ambao tunakutana nao kwa sababu ya mazingira ya kule akaja kuinvest. Kwa mfano, I will give an example of investor that invested Massicop Ventures. I met them at Africa Tech Summit. And then it was all about, it's not like, maybe I didn't come to say, let the ecosystem in Tanzania help me. No. I was there at the Africa Tech Summit, Cindy, and did I tell someone, no, it's your life, my friend. So fuck the ecosystem. Find a way to go out of here. Kwa sababu nataka tu niwaambie investors wengi hawako hapa. Msidanganyane. Amna. So go there, tafuta kule nje, tafuta network nyingine, tafuta network, just go out, expose yourself to those areas. Sasa ukisha toka kule, they come here. You might be the reason of even those guys to come here. So some people have to be out to bring them here. Because some of the investors who invested in our company, Nordic Impact Fund, it's the first company, it's the first for them to invest in Tanzania. Do you understand? They invested in Tanzania, and then they, because of us, they saw like, okay, so I can invest in other company. They are now, they came last month, yeah? Yes, doing the final DD to another startup, which of course is still come back to recommend it. So they went to that startup, they did the due diligence, hivyo. Lakini, do you know where I got her? Nilimpata wapi? Haukai humu ndani ukawa unachungulia humu mazingira hapa. Hawezi toboa hata. So attend mikutano, yes, but find the exposure. Tusiishi humu ndani tukafungwa. Nairobi hata hapa ni karibu. Mimi nasema I'm speaking of Nairobi as an example because most of the guys wako kule. Ninakutana na startup Nairobi has just an idea and is pitching to the investor, is just an idea. Alafu yeye an idea alikuwa na present, he was pitching the idea of us. It's just an idea. And the guy said like, will test with 100K, okay? So that you can see how it goes. And I was like, nikataka nimwambie, mimi mbona tayari nafanya? Nipe hiyo hela. So it's because of the exposure. Like, another thing is whenever we go out, sometimes people wana ona kwamba sisi tuko chini, especially in Tanzania, like sisi tuko chini. Na hata unavoenda kule mtu anakuambia kwamba they say like I only know one company here, East Africa Food. Where are you from? I mean, who are you? Like they ask like, in Tanzania we know one person. What are you even doing here? So people are like asking you, are you from Tanzania? Are you from the whatever? It's because my friend, sisi wabongo tumejificha ndani. I don't know somewhere tumejificha, lakini tumejificha labda Twitter tumekaa, lakini guys, wake up. Sindio, wake up. Achaneni na hizi ecosystem kuvurugana humu ndani. Wake up, go out. Kule ndani tukatafute kule, maybe we might even bring other people here na wakaweza kuinvest. No, so that is my comment.
And to add up on that, make sure, and this will come to the close-up for Mercy as well. I think I spoke with the last startups that I was training, and I told them, I don't know if they're working on this as well. For me, if you come on my Instagram, I think per day I'm receiving almost 10 investments for startups per day on the Instagram opportunities. I'm talking about between $2,500 to $30,000 per day. I have like 20 groups of opportunities that they're literally, you find like they announce the deadline is February 29th, and then they come the next month, they're like, we didn't get the startups we were looking for, so we are extending until March. And I'm asking myself, how many startups do we have in Tanzania that are struggling to get the impact funds? Forget about the commercial or other, the impact funds. So I think we also misusing the right channels. Like we have them, but we don't really know how to use them and utilize them. But also LinkedIn, if you set it to remind you and give you all the opportunities that are existing, I like saying one thing. Do you know that there are people who their job is to give money? Like their how do you call it? Their deliverables are based on how many people they've given money. While your role is how you're gonna get the money. For them, mtu anarudi ofisini kutoa ripoti kwamba nilikuwa na milioni 500, nimekosa mtu wa kumpa. Wakati kuna Mtanzania amekaa amelala anatafuta milioni 1. You hear me? Lakini bro akazungumzia issue, tukisema exposure tumaanishi uende ukazurure Dubai, upige picha urudi. There is thousands of, I think I told the last cohort as well, tuna conferences zaidi ya 6 that are climate related. Through those conferences, you can be able to start a new idea. I remember 2023, nilipata opportunity ya kwenda COP 29. When I went to COP 29, we had a bilateral meeting with US Senate. For me, it was fun. It was just going there to have conversation and all that. But we started a coalition of energy. And my colleague was in US like few months ago. And I was like, wait, we just had a meeting on the table, and those guys suggested for us to go there and share our ideas that we did not even have. And all it came from the conference. So sometimes you just need to go, just get into the conference. You don't know what's going to happen. Talk to people, share about your idea. Just talk about it. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. Just tell them there is one guy who will be interested and they want to invest. And the good part of these people, it's not about how much you're making sometimes. It's about the uniqueness of where you're coming from. Oh, you're coming from Tanzania. Oh, there is this. Oh, I'm interested. Let's have a meeting. Sasa hapo wangapi wanafuatilia? That's the challenge. So, Mercy, on your as an investor.
Jamani, sina hizo anazosema huyu. So for me, I think I have like a few things I need to share. Very few. I think kuna so many ways that all of us can fundraise. But also keep in mind kwamba you're fundraising from someone who's fundraising. Alafu, I think I've learned a few ways where a startup can really try to navigate some of these investment opportunities. So kwenye climate, specifically tukiongelea climate, I've seen people in Kenya wanaitwa KCIC, and then kuna KVC. They are doing a lot of work to invest in companies like yours. And then they have explored different tools, different ways to invest this money. Sometimes, maybe, I think there's a very good question mtakuwa kumuuliza nani Geoffrey. I don't know why I keep confusing you. I'm sorry. But I don't know why you didn't ask him how did he get those types of investors he has, and what are the types of investors he's working with. Me, I'm so curious about that. Lakini watu wamkuuliza huko. Okay, anyways, labda mmetosheka na investors mkono shed. Yeah. So I want to learn, maybe this should come actually from you guys. I want to see how many people have tried to either fundraise and how successful was it? Did you succeed to do it? Mm-hmm. Yes? Lawrence nyosha kabisa weka. Yes. Uh-huh. Okay, so Lawrence ni how much? If it's okay to share.
Okay,
over 2 million. Over 2 million.
I have
Okay.
a problem with this NGO money, right?
I know. It's totally fine.
I think we mentioned the can I use?
Yeah, sure, please.
So, thanks, yeah. So, of course, they have their impact side, they have their lengo, sindio? They have their agenda or their motives or their benefits that they look at. And I'm in our journey for 5 years now or so, I think next funding would deny contribution, right? We contribute into what they, a certain percentage. But when it's time for us to make use of that sustainability part of the business, if we use our money and their money, they cannot exchange it for our contribution, for our sustainability. And it is actually fallen on us 3 times. It's very painful. One of them, we actually retained money. But we had a business opportunity which we could have used, which was in line with their objective. So I think we need to look at how best now, when we look at fundraising, where we actually avoid such. And I think also for you guys who are investors, I think you need to be flexible. And when it shows that there's a business opportunity from your money, why don't you let it go for that business opportunity? Because at the end of the day, you lose out the continuity, the sustainability. There's many things that go with it. So I think that would be my contribution. In as much as we've raised 2 million, 3 million, if I look back, the impact today, it pains because somebody says don't use that money for that particular purpose.
Yeah. No, he said it didn't raise, so what? Yeah, well, see, it is completed. I didn't raise it.
I would like to know why he did it. Because he tried.
We have tried a lot of times to mobilize the funds from impact. Most of the time, the impact investors, because for the business, we are paid for doing the research, for doing the claims assessment, product development. We don't have a problem in the business mode, but because we want to grow, as most of the people say, the convertible debts, the whatever is quite easy. So we find that for the impact, at least it can do. So we tried it for last 2 years there's Insure Resilience Fund. They provide funds to pilot agriculture insurance products, whether for the government, different products. And why we failed, they said, although we wrote that we need some technical person, but again they come and say, one of the reasons why you didn't succeed, you don't have the technical expertise. Remember, we wrote that we will hire technical expertise. But also, they said that is one of the reasons we didn't, your call didn't qualify. Second, they put us the threshold, a range of money for request. It was between €1 million to 1.5. So we requested the same, but they said you requested much money than your capacity. You understand? That was the threshold that you need to, in the grant, your budget need to range from 1.5 million to 1.5. That was the second issue. But the third was the issue for contribution. We call it co-financing. Sorry, contribution that we need to put some amount of money, and then you request. So for us, they come say we don't see any of the evidence that you have this money, but we explain that we are going to partner with one of the company so that they can guarantee this money, because there are different options available in the market in terms of guarantee. So that's why I was saying, and I would realize that maybe there's another way. There is another way, the same. And this year we have tried it, but in another alternative way, which I cannot explain at this forum. Thank you.
Or maybe it's time for him to reflect and look onto his business again.
So from my side, we are running a protein making and fertilizer making business. So it's just an idea of using black soldier fly on waste management. So we as I started to fundraise, actually I didn't know I'm fundraising till I actually got the money, and that's the point where I realized this is actually fundraising. So we were just operating just a very small scale, producing just these black soldier fly larvae and fertilizer in just a very small plot. And as we tested for a few farmers, and they liked it, they liked the products. So we started to find how to scale up. So when you want to scale up in this kind of business, you need to have a very good facility, so as you can produce the larva for the tons, for amount of tons. So not only the facility, but the area and the machinery. So you need just an expensive production line. So I really didn't know like anybody who can give me such amount of money. And I went to one of the program, it was Climate Launchpad. By the time, I think also Mr. Faraji was one of the panelists in the final. Yeah, so we were having just an idea of, we just introduced the fertilizer by then. So we didn't win, and I thought, what can we do? And so I knew one person, and he is a lecturer at the university where I finished my environmental engineering degree. So that person also, he's like a family friend to my father, very close to my father, but not close to me at all. So I decided to take a leap of faith, and I went to talk with him about the business. For some time, it took me some time because I was today in his office, then he does not understand actually what I'm going to. He does not actually, he was not understanding at all about the insects. And he thought it is like a bad idea, raising insects. So I went like most of the time, like many times, I went there, find out disappointed after seeing the reaction, and I went back because that was my only option, because I didn't know anybody with money by then, and with a space. So why I was going every now and then, because he had a space and he had a certain area, a very big area where he was farming chicken, poultry. So we wanted to change that area to be for black soldier fly larvae. It's almost a 2-acre area with some additional money for the machinery. So after some time, it took me like 6 to 8 months. So he came to an agreement that we start piloting now the actual farm. And if we can get any customers, so we share with them the progress, and to see if this business is actually the business. So after some time, we went just in a raw production, and later on, when we shared with him about the customer base and how the feedbacks are, so he decided now to sit with me and say, like, this business is good, so we should look on how to fund it more so that it can go even further. So that's when we. Yes. So that's the point those are the moments we have gone through the fundraising. Yeah, so I realized I was fundraising after now getting the money for the second time. Yeah, but for the first time it was just the space, the facilities, then just try to produce the how we can do it. I don't know, but try it first before putting the actual money. Yeah.
Point. So I guess we have literally 2 minutes. So she has to use one, and I'll use one, and then we'll be done, right?
Yeah. Okay. I think I was saying to kwamba there were so many other ways of doing the fundraising. So I think kuna kitu kinaitwa blended finance, ambayo mara nyingi inakuwaga ni commercial funding ama na philanthropic funding ambayo inakuwa merged together. Naonaga watu wanaandikaga I'm looking for 100,000 USD and a grant of 50,000 USD. So hiyo tunaitaga ni blended financing. But also kuna watu wanaongelaga green bonds hapa CRDB. They have been here. How far have we explored that? How far have we? Nobody has interest in that. But okay, I think they were here so many times. I came to 2 sessions and I met CRDB people talking about the same topic. Yeah. So I think there's a need for us to also be aware of that situation. But kuna zingine zinaitwa revenue-based financing, ambazo they look at your revenue. Kuna kitu alisema hapa. But sometimes, again, do not exaggerate your information because your books will expose you. Yeah, and it's not a very good experience for anyone. Sindio? And then pia kuna forgivable debts. There are people doing that. Sasa it depends on your network. Who do you know? Kama tulivyosema exposure. Wengine wanakupatia pesa and then when they see that you have done the impact that they were looking for, that's easy ama enough for them to report back to who give them the money. It's a forgivable debt. But I would say those people are very rare. And then wanaitwa CIE Foundation or something. I can find it if I'm settled. I can tell you the exact name. But most likely Africa might not be part of the plan, but maybe let's say, I would say Tanzania not part of it, but Kenya tayari walishafika. And then kuna matching funds ambazo I wouldn't really, I would say it's the same thing kwamba you have at least to have a certain amount for them to give you money. So to only depend on the equity financing ama hizo commercial financing ambao we all know it's a little bit complicated for us. But the most important part, it's very important ukiwa na organic growth. Nobody wants to come to a place where it's all messed up with all the investors coming in. Mpaka mnachagua non-executive CEO because you have so many investors. You get? Okay, I'm just sharing this experience because the games are not fun. You have to report for almost 10 people. It's not fun. You need to run the real business. I respect people who did both. Either kupata grant financing na kupata pesa from investors na kufanya organic growth. But kama unajua bado unafanya organic growth, go with it until you reach to a point where unaona sasa hapa I can't. Yani hapa nikigeuka tu nyuma. This is done. Go for those people. I believe watakusaidia because by that time you have all the passion because you know this is like my last time to get this. But also I wanted to share maybe let's say 3 opportunities that at least we can currently try to collaborate on. I know I have talked to some few people here, so it's a good thing. So currently, tuko na portfolios mbili, 2 portfolio companies that are currently at least providing finance to SMEs. We do not call you SME, but also it depends if you can reach their criteria. So moja inaitwa AML Finance, ambao kazi yake ni kutoa mikopo. Obviously, it's a microfinance. You might want to explore that through MTI. And then also we have mtaji wetu which does invoice financing. I think I've talked about this as well. But I think I haven't really seen a lot of people trying to explore that as well. So I suggest you try to do that as well. And then the lastly ni MTI investment yenyewe. So mostly we have like a routine for our investments. We have the H1 where we invest and then we have the H2 where we report. So ukinitafuta H2, most likely I'm reporting. Lakini H1, that's why we are choosing a portfolio company. And for us, we mostly pick the company, na tunaangalia kwamba these are the informations, but the most important part is we do not want to discourage anyone with the initiative. So we have a waiting list for all the companies that are coming to contact MTI. Then at the end of the day, if the board decides kwamba we are going with this, we are going with this. At the end of the day, we don't want to be part of the ghost people who are ghosting everybody else. Yeah. So thank you.
An amazing 1 minute. So guys, my amendment to all of you, right, is one thing. Most of the startups and businesses, we are risk takers, right? But most of the startups in Tanzania, they are not risk takers, they're opportunity takers. There's a huge difference. Like when you have a good idea and you see someone announcing for an opportunity and you take it, that's not taking risk. That's taking opportunity. So I have a call, and I think I gave this call to a previous meeting and to the startups that I met as well. Go to Instagram, search for opportunities, just simple, right? Opportunities. You'll find a lot of groups, right? Or if you're really interested, text me, search Faraj Hassan Emily. I'll share with you like 5 or 10 groups if I'm not mistaken. Minimum 5, the one that I remember. Mostly for those who are doing specific for climate, right? Say to yourself for this year, attend only 5 international meetings. Only 5. Don't go further. In those 5 international meetings, set 3 goals. 3. First one, make sure that you talk to everyone who is in the conference. If you can't everyone, do half. When I'm talking about talking to everyone, don't be scared to go and be like, hey, what's up? My name is Faraj. What do you do? I'm from Tanzania. I do 1, 2, 3. Are you interested in doing this? Just don't be scared. It's your business, right? You won't lose a thing. That's 1. 2, make sure you collect as many business cards as you possible when you go to these conferences. Literally yesterday night, I was looking for something for my remote control on the box, and I found myself, I have thousands of business cards, and I came to realize some of them, I'm in need of them right now. So it's just a matter of sending a request for a meeting, and then I can do the pitching. Remember, it's very powerful to say, hello, my name is Faraji. We met during this meeting. I'm interested to meet with you. Versus, hello, my name is Faraji. I would like to schedule for a meeting to see I can talk to you. There's a huge difference. I always tell people, one day if I meet any of you here and I have an interest, my introduction will be like, it was really great to meet with you. You'll start remembering the meeting, even if you don't remember it. But that's a very good start, because at least we have met before. It's different from someone that you have never met at all. You hear me? And the last thing, try as much as you can to send requests for presentations, even if they're not giving you funds for these international meetings. Because some of them, they want people who can just share their impacts or share their projects or share their ideas. The moment you do that, you're already doing a free marketing. From a free marketing, there might be an investor who is interested in you, like my brother said, from that specific meeting. Most of people are asking themselves, how did Waga become a global startup? Do you know the secret? It was conferences. Every conference that he was going, they were paying for transport, paying for venue, paying for hotel, make sure that he's covered. He's just going to talk about his idea. But most of investors started asking themselves, who is this Waga? And then they started checking on his operations and all that, right? But when you sit down deep and discuss with him, you come to realize he's facing more than what you think. And he has a lot of work to do. But most of people think he has a lot of money and he's operating and everything is fine. But the good part is he has already positioned himself somewhere where now people are really interested in working with him. So you do these 3 things, come back home and sit. Now work on your idea. I'm promising you. We're talking about something else. If Nala never left Tanzania, go to Kenya, and then start shouting everywhere, I think Nala wouldn't be where he is right now. Right? We all know how much he's getting. Right? I don't know if you know the story of Nala that happened with NMB. I don't want to go there much. But I think that was one of the biggest, my background is PR and marketing. So one of the things that I loved that Nala did was that email that sent during that event. You don't know, just find me, I'll tell you. That email made him become someone else, because everyone was like, who is this Nala? What did he do? What is happening? So everyone was interested. And today we can see what he's doing, right? So this is my takeaway for you guys. Just focus on the conferences. Just go there, show up, ask questions, talk to people. You never know what is planned for you tomorrow. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate for your time.
What else is there to say? Thank you all for coming here today. May we have one final round of applause for our wonderful panelists. Yes. And moderator. So yes, thank you once again. I'll never stop thanking you, because just taking the time to appear here is a very, very big vote. Not just for us, but of course for yourselves, because you get to have such conversations and get such insights. You know, for me, maybe two of my biggest takeaways today was stop thinking like a startup and think like a business, right? When you wear that t-shirts, a lot of people take these t-shirts very simply, you know, and you wonder why, for example, like use an example of Nala, he will go out there and wear his blue t-shirt that looks very silly, but you're like, why can't he just wear a suit? He has the money, but there's a reason for that. You know, he could have come here today wearing a suit like our moderator did, but he wore his t-shirt looking very simple. But there's a reason that everybody now here is looking at Mazao Hub. Even without his picture being here, it's now known, right? And he may walk the streets with it, and it's the small things that you do that separate you from the others, and even people are willing to open up to you, you know? And the other thing as well is, it's something about forgetting the ecosystem, right? But what I will say is not really forget about it, but forget about the noise that happens in the ecosystem. You know, utilize the ecosystem to your benefit. You're a business and you know what you want out of it. So when you know certain partners exist here, make sure you're there. Take use of these events such as these. You just saw a call like, let me pop in by, you know, just see what's there, who's there, and you don't know who you're going to meet or what you're going to learn. Today you have been shared with 3 opportunities over here. He said he's going to share 5 more and many other groups. Could you have gotten that if you're not here today? Right? So now even you spreading this message to other people is the impact that we're leaving, and it's going to be beneficial for our own ecosystem as Tanzania. Kwa hiyo, thank you. Yes, Rob.
I just remembered when you said about the ecosystem, I belong to some angel investment stuff that I do here in Tanzania. And there's Serengeti. We do have a Harambee night for startups, and for that night what happens is people pay about 20,000 shillings, and quite a number of people attend, more than 100, right? So whoever wins the pitch, there will be 3 pitches. Whoever wins the pitch takes away the money, so you can walk away with like 2 million shillings or whatever it is, really, and then you have exposure to the whole thing. Yeah, so I just thought about it when you mentioned it.
So he's right here. He won't be far. Right after, you can just follow him. He'll give you all the information. Yes. So, hey, it's on you. You know, as long as he's open. But yes, thank you all. Maybe one final announcement from Smart Lab is that for this ClimAccelerator that we're running, we have our demo day on the April 3rd. Our cohort has been working very hard, and we're practicing our pitching, so we're headed there. So the first announcement for it is going to go out today after this event, so feel free to register and spread the word that the demo day is going to be live for all to be able to witness the cohort. So thank you. I will share it. Yeah, so we're going to, unfortunately, we cannot welcome the whole ecosystem, but we're going to send out invites. Majority of you who are in this room are going to be there. So that's the thing that I can say, depending on your calendars. But nitawakaribisha, and you're going to be able to attend. But of course, there's going to be a live stream, so everybody is going to be able to catch it and watch it. But yeah, so we'll send details of all the venue, what time, everything to follow. Yeah, sawa, hamna shida. Yes, so yeah, thank you all, and good night.